Hi everybody, this is Abby with Scrap and Abby, and I'm back with another design team project for Linnie Blooms. This project is going to be live up on their blog on Tuesday, June 3rd. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and share with you guys what I'm going to be creating this time. So for the pieces I'm going to be using from the Bloom collection, I'm going to be using some of these flowers right here. I'm not sure if I'm going to use just 2 or possibly 3, and I'm going to be altering these just slightly so they won't be in this actual, state that you're seeing right here in its, in the circle, the shape of the flower. So I'll be altering those, and then what I'm going to be making is a tag, and this is just a craft tag that I have, just a larger one I picked up. I'm going to be using one of my Prima Doll stamps that was given to me. I actually have a stack of them that was given to me by Maureen, a friend of mine online and from YouTube. So thanks Maureen for this. And I'm going to be using this on the tag itself. Some of the elements I'm probably going to add just kind of as the creative process goes. I kind of layer as I work on a project. Maybe some of these little pennant flags on the banners, or I might even incorporate from Satan Crystals from Prima, maybe some of these, I'm not sure yet. And then for part of the background, just for some texture on the tag, one of these one of these burlap flag pennants. One of the stamps on here, I think I'm going to be using Girls Just Want to Have Fun, because this looks just like a kind of a teenage type of stamp to me. We'll see. And then incorporating a couple different flowers possibly. We'll kind of see, as the process goes. And then I'm going to be pulling from these 2 paper pads for the stamped image as well as the background on the tag as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll be sure to turn on the video once I get to something really cool with using these canvas pieces from Linnie Blooms. Thanks you guys, and I'll be back in just a few. Okay, so I went ahead and covered my tag with some of the cardstock. This is the back side, and this is what the front's going to look like. I trimmed down one of those burlap flags or banner pieces I shared with you guys. I'm going to be doing some distressing on this piece. I went ahead and stamped my Prima Doll onto 2 different sections of the Prima ledger paper. I wanted the legs to have the little script on it, and then the top part is just kind of this neutral tone. I'm going to be using my Tim Holtz distress markers to kind of color in this sweater right there a little bit. I probably won't do much more than that. I'm not I don't do like Copics or like digital images or anything like that. So coloring is not my strong suit. So I just like the look of how this looks, just kind of in the naked form with the inking and some of the script on the legs and stuff. And so the focus is really going to be on the skirt. So I wanted to show you guys really quickly what this looks like now, and then what I'm going to be doing. So these are the canvas flower pieces from the Bloom, and I went ahead and stamped 2. One is a little bit lighter than the other, and this one is a lighter one because what I did, I wanted to test this. This is just a big background stamp I have. I went ahead and inked it, and then I flipped it over like normal and stamped on it. And then the next one I took, inked it again, and then I flipped it over and then just did a finger press, and I got a little bit darker image because I kind of wanted to have a couple different hues of the print on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the third one on camera to show you guys how I did that. It's real easy, just basic stamping. Hopefully my camera doesn't move too much as I'm pushing on my table here. And it's using the archival ink, and the reason I'm using this instead of my distress ink or a different one is because I'm going to be doing some sprays as well, and I want to make sure that the ink does not run. So I'm going to go ahead and just stamp this one like I did the first one, just so it's not completely dark as the first one. Or the second one, excuse me, and I'm just going to lay this on there, give it a good press. And of course, as you guys know with stamping, the harder you push it, the darker the image, and you want to be careful that you don't, especially if you're doing like a sentiment or something, that you're not, squishing it or something or moving it a little bit, and then it'll be kind of fuzzy. So this is just a background image. That's how that looks. It looks perfect like that. Just going to give my stamp just a quick dry wipe off here real fast. And then the next thing I'm going to do, this will be off camera just because that's just the way my room is set up for this kind of next process, is to go ahead and spray my pieces. I'm going to give them just a quick dry with this heat tool. And then I'm going to be using some spray that I mixed together. I shared this before in another video. It's water mixed in with, let me see if I can reach and grab it, with this one here. It's the Stephanie Bernard spray. It's the guava, and this is from Paper Smooches, I believe, is what I got this one from. Anyway, it was just a little bit too bright for a project I was working on, so I went ahead and just watered it down, and I like the lighter color for this project as well. So let me go ahead and I'm just going to put my I'll go ahead and do it on camera actually because I can bring my smaller box in. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to lay these pieces in here. And I'm doing pink because that's one of my daughter's favorite colors, and this is something that's kind of reminded me of her, this project stamp and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and spray. Hopefully my fan doesn't get too crazy and get in there too. Oops. We can actually get on the piece. And you can make this as light or as dark as you want. And I'm really focusing more just on the edges, not so much the centerpiece. I think it looks really cool. And let me pull this out and give these a quick dry. These canvas pieces from Linnie Blooms, if you guys have not used them before, they really take well to the different sprays and gelatos and the different inks and things like that. I've used quite a few different ones on them, and they work really, really well. So I'm going to give these a quick heat, get these to set down, and then I'll turn the cam back on and show you guys how I'm going to incorporate these balloon pieces on my mixed media tag. Be back in just a minute. Okay, so I have my canvas pieces dried, and this is how they look. And you guys can see just how awesome these Linnie Bloom canvas pieces take to different stamps and background. You can see the crisp, clear image on there, the different sprays, and I have a total of 3. And I wanted them to be kind of different, you know, what's what I'm looking for. I wanted them to have different, you know, hues of the pink spray. I guess what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to incorporate this on my tag. Now, I do want to note that I'm not actually going to adhere these to the tag at this point in time because I'm not done building the base of the tag yet. So the important part for me was to show you guys on camera how I'm altering the Linnie Bloom pieces so you can know another way to use these for your own crafting projects as well. So all I'm doing is just simply taking my scissors, and it doesn't matter which way you go. I'm just going to go ahead and just cut these right in half. And you can fold these in half if that makes it easier for you, or you can just simply cut them like I'm doing right here. And I'm going to go this way on purpose because I kind of want to get the darker and the lighter tone there. And I'm going to go ahead and do it with the third one. Just simply cutting across here. I think we'll go this way. And it doesn't matter if it's even or perfect because it's mixed media. It doesn't matter at all. So what I'm left with are all these half flower pieces you guys can see here. And you're probably already kind of getting where I'm going with this. I'm going to zoom the camera in just a little bit so you guys can see a little closer what I'm doing. I'm trying to go slow so I don't make you dizzy or sick. So I'm just going to be layering these pieces onto this dress. And then when I'm ready to, or this doll stamp, and when I'm ready to actually put it together, then I'll go ahead and adhere it with some adhesive, and I'm probably going to use score tape so I can kind of ruffle it up a little bit. But the thought process is to make this into kind of a pleated layered skirt on her, and so that's how this is going to look once I get this done, except I'll actually go this way so you can see the flower pleats. So it looks kind of weird now, but it's just because I haven't trimmed everything down yet, but that's kind of the idea what I'm going for. So once I get to the point where I'm going to adhere these to the project itself, I'll turn the camera back on so you guys can see that. Now I don't want you to think that, gosh, you cut up, you know, so many flowers, why don't you just cut up 1 or 2 so you had enough layers. These I can use on a different project. I don't have to necessarily keep these in the flower shape because I like to alter things and use them differently. So these would be great to use on a different project as an accent piece or underneath for background or something like that. So these will definitely not go to waste. So I don't want you guys to worry about that. So I'll be back when I'm ready to stick my canvas pieces on my doll. Okay guys, so you can see I've kind of already started, you know, building the layers of the tag, and I wanted to share you really quickly how I created the layers of the dress. So as I showed you in the last part of the video, I just cut, you know, after I stamped it and used some ink spray, I cut the flower bloom in half, and all I did is I just, you know, made sure I made each one going up. The largest one will be in the bottom, you know, next size up a little bit smaller, and the top layer a little bit smaller, just kind of like the ruffles of a dress. So all I did was just took my tiny attacher, or you can use any stapler you want, or whatever you want to do it, and I just took it and I just folded this over like this, and I'll go ahead and just staple this one just to show you how easily this works. And I just stapled it like that, just did a quick staple, and then on the other side I did the same thing. And then for each layer, of course, you'll move up more, or move in closer to make it a little bit smaller. Just did that business with it and just stapled it, and then it kind of makes that little pleat, and then this is what the back side looks like, and then this will be covered so you don't have to worry about the staple showing. So what I did is I did that for each layer, and then I just went ahead and put on some score tape on the back. You can use whatever adhesive you want. You can use liquid if you prefer, you know, Scotch Quick Dry, that kind of thing. I just love using score tape because it's super strong. You'll hold it together and it's instantly done. This is just the 1/4 inch that I used on here, but you could use whichever, you know, width or you wanted to do. So all I did was that, and then it's as easily as me just peeling off the back of the score tape off the back side of the canvas. Let's see here, like that. And then you're going to have my head here in the way just for a second because I don't have the girl glued down yet because I don't want her stuck down to the tag yet because I'm still working on the placement of my sentiment, which is right there. So pardon me if I'm in the way here. I'm just kind of eyeballing this and I'm just laying this down on the girl like that, and then I'll go to the next layer of the dress and just again just peel off the score tape. Oops. And if you have trouble with it sticking, which I normally don't, I just don't think I did it to this one, you can just give it a quick press with your bone folder and then it's going to stay on there. And this is actually what I used on my canvas pieces for my other projects you guys have seen on the Linnie Bloom's design team page, that my other projects, except for I think a couple of the flowers on my metal cans I made, I altered. I used some liquid adhesive. I ended up using the beacon, but mostly it's score tape is what I use. And then that's what it looks like on the back. And then you just layer the next skirt piece on like that. And then the next one will be the last piece. That's going to be the top part of the skirt. So let me go ahead and you can also use your fingernails too if you have, you know, you're able to kind of squish that in there because it does form into the grooves you guys can see of the canvas piece, so it works really well. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this top one on here. I am going to pull this back just so I can see it just a little bit because I got to make sure it's going on the very top of her waistband, just so I can make sure it looks even. So give me just a quick second here. Alright, so there it is. There's the skirt, and again the girl is not stuck to the tag yet, but you guys can see the layering. I think that's really cute. I love that it's kind of got the little bit of fray from the canvas piece. I'll trim a little bit off, and then what I'm going to do, just so I can cover the staple pieces in case you're like, well, that's kind of ugly, I don't like that. I have from May Arts just this trim here, so it's going to look like it's a belt, and I'm going to put that on there. And then I have one of my cabochon flowers I'm going to pull from my stash and put that on like this little flower on the belt. So I think it's really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the tag, and I'll come back when I have it completed and I'll show you guys when I'm all done. See you in just a minute. Okay guys, I'm back with a completed tag, and hopefully the lighting isn't too weird looking. I'm doing this after the sun's already went down, so it's kind of I got a lot of windows in my craft room, so it's it might look a bit different. Anyway, so this is the completed tag, and I really like how it turned out. I added a few extra things, did change a few things up since I started the first part of the video, but you guys can see here the really cute layering of those Linnie Bloom canvas pieces to create this skirt. I think it turned out super cute, and this is the burlap banner that I use for the background. Is just kind of a little bit of texture. This is a flower that I actually had left over from a different project. I just did some spraying and tucked some leaves behind it. This is some jute string right here on the top. I think it's kind of cool looking. I like how it's kind of rough and rustic looking. Just a little bit of coloring on the headband and the jacket, not too much because that's not really my thing. And then this is the sentiment I end up using. A girl is innocence playing in the mud, beauty standing on its head, and motherhood dragging a doll by the foot. And it's by Alan Marshall Beck, and I thought that was kind of a cute sentiment. And then I just added some little pendant banners. I'll show you those in a moment that I use. I just did some Lindy sprays and some inking, and then just added a few little pearls down here on the bottom just to kind of give a little bit of something to balance this side of the tag out. So lots of dimension, as you guys can see. I love that. That's just kind of my thing when I'm doing projects. Oh, and I changed up the waistband. I used some jute string and then added one of my green cabochon flowers, and I thought that looked really cute. So for a couple of the markers, I used the mustard seed in the distress marker, and then I used the worn lipstick, and then these are the flat back pearls, sunflower yellow, and then I also added on the top of the tag, just to reinforce it, one of the Tim Holtz Ideology reinforcers. And then for the little flag pendants right down here at the bottom, you're seeing this is these are some banners I got from Pick Your Plum, and I just cut them apart and used the ones that I wanted. The two inks, frayed burlap, and then I also used walnut stain. And then the stamp sentiment, I think I shared that in the beginning. Yes, I did. So I think that's everything. And again, I'll show you the project up close. So this is how the Linnie Blooms already cut it in half, but this is what they look like. They come, you know, imagine these together, and that's how the piece comes together. And then I just did the stamping, and then with my block, like I showed you guys, and then I added some spray. So it's really fun to see how you can turn, you know, a canvas bloom piece like this into a layered textured piece for a mixed media tag or any type of project you're working on, and create, you know, something really cool, lots of texture and dimension. and make a skirt off the tag. So that's just what I chose to do with my bloom pieces, because I like to alter them and not always use them in their original state if I can. So thanks you guys. I will have additional photos, or photos actually, with a step out tutorial on some of the stuff I shared with you guys in the video on my blog, scrappin-abby.blogspot.com, and this again is going to be live on the Linnie Blooms blog on Tuesday, June 3rd. So thanks you guys. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment or send me an email, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you guys might have. See you next time, and happy crafting.